Right now, state lawmakers start the ignition on toll road talk in Wisconsin, this time with a bit of a different twist.
And we are learning new details tonight about the Milwaukee officer killed in the line of duty this morning.
Plus, a News 3 exclusive, a local man doing something good, turning his life around while making a difference for others.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Another messy round of winter weather is at our doorstep. We had a little taste of it this evening.
Yeah, snow, rain, freezing rain will continue overnight, likely through the day tomorrow, and that means your morning commute could take a hit.
We are going to start with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the backyard patio tonight. Gary?
Charlotte, it is very slippery out here if you've been outside, even though right now we just have a few flurries and a little bit of freezing drizzle. The sidewalks, the parking lots are very icy. You can see one round of wintry weather has moved to our north and east with some freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and then a little bit of rain down toward Janesville and areas to the south where temperatures have been slightly above freezing. So while that lifts to the northeast, the next batch of wintry weather is developing over northern Missouri and extreme southern Iowa and will race northeastward to be here later on tonight through much of the day tomorrow. High temperatures today were right around 30 here in Madison, but notice Janesville hit 34, as did Milwaukee. Current temperatures now are in the upper 20s to the lower 30s. These temperatures will not move very much tonight. They'll stay nearly steady in the upper 20s to lower 30s. There is a winter storm warning north and west of Wisconsin Dells through midnight tomorrow night. Winter weather advisories north and west of Lone Rock through midnight tomorrow night. Much of our viewing area, including Madison, under a winter weather advisory through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Southeastern Wisconsin into the Chicago area, that advisory only runs until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning because temperatures may get up above freezing. But we may see the precipitation change over to mainly snow by late in the day tomorrow into tomorrow night, with the potential for 3 to 6 inches or more of snow up toward the Dells. The snowfall from the Future Track computer model showing several inches up to the north and west, and then that wintry sleet and freezing rain, about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in some spots. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be right around the 30-degree mark, but we'll see those temperatures fall off during the afternoon as precipitation changes to snow late in the day. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. And despite a number of weather-related closures, the state's education agency is not going to reduce the number of mandated classroom hours. Under state law, Wisconsin schools are required to teach a minimum number of hours. However, it is up to individual districts if they want to go over that in case of unexpected closures. The Middleton Cross Plains district built in an additional 40 hours of classroom time. They have 10 hours left to burn. Verona area high school students will need to make up 18 hours. Madison added a day of school this coming Friday. State Republican lawmakers are bringing back old discussions for transportation funding, but this time with a twist.
Today, House Speaker Robin Vos and Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald suggested putting tolls on state highways. Amy Reed and photojournalist Lance Height show us how this could affect the people living on the end of one of these highways.
We've got the original stained glass panels.
Antiques are a regular part of Melissa Evans' day.
This is one of the original maps.
A map from 1861, this plaque from 1904, an old phone. There's stuff from across generations at Monroe's Chamber of Commerce. But you could also say there's some pretty old stuff outside, too. Highway 69 is the main road in and out of town, and it's pretty obvious it's seen better days.
We would love to see better quality roads. I think everybody would like that.
We're going to sit down like adults. We're going to figure it out.
Today, Republican leaders suggested a way to do that.
Between open road tolling, certainly, gas tax, if you're looking at vehicle registration, or if you're looking at, title fee, all of those things, like Senator Schilling said, I think it's going to be some type of mix.
Adding open tolling on state highways, which would be roads like Highway 69. They said this would create more money than a gas tax, and it would be a lasting source. Melissa said it's not so simple. Adding a toll on a 2-lane highway wouldn't be cost effective, and it might be better to convert the 2 lanes to 4, something the city might like to see.
If you are talking to somebody who wants to relocate or start a new strategy for an industry, one of the things that they want is direct access to a 4-lane highway.
Though the idea could be exciting, this proposal has a ways to go before she can plan, not to mention the discussions still to come from both Republicans and Democrats. But to people like Melissa, the hope of something being done is a good start.
This is where we sit right here in the middle.
Because she's hoping for a day where the only antiques she sees are the ones in her office.
We don't care what format you are going to address it in. but address it.
A representative with Senator Fitzgerald's office stressed that much more research will go into this before a solid plan is reached, and Fitzgerald said earlier today that he won't move forward without support from the governor.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you. The 23-day shutdown at Columbia County Correctional Institution in Portage is now over. According to a Department of Corrections spokesperson, normally scheduled visitation will resume this Friday, and other activities and programming will resume over the next few days. It is still unclear why the building was on lockdown for so long. A veteran Milwaukee police officer was killed in the line of duty today while serving a search warrant. The shooting happened on the city's south side around 9 o'clock this morning. Police have the suspect in custody. A large police procession escorted the officer's body from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. This is the third Milwaukee police officer to be killed in the line of duty in the last 8 months.
This is a lot to bear for an agency. 3 deaths in such a short period of time. And so we're asking for prayer and support from all of our city residents.
Late tonight, the officer has been identified as Matthew Rittner. He is a 17-year veteran, and according to Journal Sentinel Online, he also served 2 tours in Iraq.
The man accused of kidnapping 13-year-old Jamie Kloss and killing her parents briefly back in court today. 21-year-old Jake Patterson has been ordered to stand trial after waiving his right to a preliminary hearing. He gave only brief answers to the judge. Patterson's arraignment has now been set for March 27th. The school district of Evansville will not be adding a school resource officer this next school year. Many were hopeful that the passage of a referendum in November would create that position. The superintendent says it's a matter of balancing priorities, even though one of the biggest ones listed on a community survey prior to that referendum vote was school safety. Superintendent Jerry Roth says the district is improving security in other ways, and they're hopeful they could add a school resource officer into the mix sometime down the road. Caught on camera, a school bus flipped onto its side. This was in South Kansas City today. Several people, including students, were on board. Everyone on the bus was able to use the top emergency exit to get out of the vehicle. Multiple medical crews were called to the scene. One of the students who used a wheelchair had to be taken away on a gurney. However, a district spokesperson said none of the children had serious injuries and all were eventually taken home by their parents.
Shopko will close almost 70% of its locations. That is 251 stores versus the original 100 they first announced. The company said this week the updated list now includes 42 stores in Wisconsin. There are currently 360 stores open in more than 24 states. A gas explosion in a San Francisco neighborhood shot flames into the air for more than 3 hours today. 5 buildings were burned and several city blocks were evacuated. The fire department says a private construction worker cut a natural gas line, igniting the towering flames. We love sharing stories of people doing something good, and this next story is about someone who is doing something great.
Jamie Perez introduces us to the man who is changing his life and helping others one stitch at a time.
Janesville St. Mary's Hospital diagnosed me with the ovarian cancer in July.
Wendy Oren lost her hair when she started chemotherapy. She wears this chemo cap as a replacement for a wig.
More comfy, more cozy, softer than the wigs that they give you.
But the journey of this hat has a story of its own.
It's kind of a long story.
Kurt Stapleton is the crochet master behind these hats.
What I do is I crochet hats for people who are going through chemotherapy.
He sits here at home crocheting for hours.
It makes me feel really good.
But with every stitch he makes comes a reminder of what got him here in the first place.
I started crocheting in prison. I was incarcerated for 3.5 years, 2 counts of armed robbery. I was addicted to painkillers. I lost my job, and I just hit rock bottom and decided to steal pills from a pharmacy.
Kurt said doing this in prison gave him purpose at a time when he felt he was hanging on by a thread. When he got out, he needed to keep his hands busy.
I've changed my life and have become a better person. And I now have a 3-year-old son who I am trying to lead by example.
An example his own father once set for him.
In 2006, my father passed away from cancer. This is kind of my way of helping him, but helping others, because I wasn't able to do anything for him.
It takes Kurt about an hour and a half to make a hat, but he's taken his craft even further, making stuffed animals, blankets, and pillows like this one.
That is one of the greatest gifts he gave me too, because I have to have so many shots a day in my stomach, and not a fan of those. So that is like, I grab onto that ribbon when my husband gives me those shots and squeeze it as hard as I can.
Kurt and Wendy still have never met, but their stories are connected by loop and thread.
Kurt is definitely doing something that is very, very, very powerful.
And Kurt now using this hobby to show the world how he took something bad and stitched it into something beautiful.
I wish I could go back and tell the people that I truly hurt, you know, that I'm sorry for what I've done. But I also wish they could see me and see what I'm doing with my life.
Every hat is custom made to order. If you would like a hat, a blanket, stuffed animal, whatever you would like, they're completely free. You can reach out to him on his Facebook page, Kurt's Crocheted Creations, or you can email him at kurtzcrochet@gmail.com.
What a great turnaround story for Kurt. We love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Jamie Perez reporting tonight. Jamie, thank you so much. Still ahead tonight, UW-Madison bringing back a Badger legend for spring commencement at Camp Randall.
And with less than 2 weeks until the Madison mayoral primary election, how the candidates are getting their messages out to the public.
Welcome back. The Madison mayoral primary election now less than 2 weeks away.
5 candidates spent the night on the north side of the city meeting with residents wanting to learn more about their visions for the city. The candidates include current Mayor Paul Soglin, former City Council member Satya Rhodes Conway, West Side Alder Maurice Cheeks, River Alliance of Wisconsin Executive Director Raj Shukla, and Madison Racial Equity Coordinator Toriana Petaway.
I have spent the last 13 years working as the managing director of the Mayor's Innovation Project, which is a national learning network for mayors.
The most important thing that a mayor has to do is take on the serious challenges that confront the community and to look out into the future as to what's possible and make it happen.
I'm running for mayor to work to address this persistent reputation that we've developed as a tale of two cities. In order to make this an inclusive, innovative, safe city for everyone.
What I would say to you is that what distinguishes me is that I have a record of working as a civic leader and as a professional of bringing people together across industry and activist communities.
Currently, I work with all 26 departments in leadership. I consult and I give guidance on human resource management. I give guidance on urban and region planning. I work with the alders and the councilmen.
The primary election is scheduled for February 19th. The general election is on April 2nd.
Familiar face will be coming back to Madison. The UW has named the commencement speaker for this spring's graduation ceremony in May.
Madison, what's going on? This is JJ Watt, and I just want to say thank you to the class of 2019 for choosing me to be your commencement speaker at graduation at Camp Randall this year. I'm so excited to get back to Wisconsin, so excited to get back into Camp Randall to see everybody. I'm not sure if the people organizing this know that I haven't graduated yet, so I'm just saying if a diploma happened to slide my way, I wouldn't be too upset.
Probably worthy of the honorary degree, right? JJ is a Pewaukee native, attended the UW in 2009, 2010, leaving early to play in the NFL. He's been with the Houston Texans ever since for the last 8 years, regularly honored for his play, of course, on the field, but also, more importantly, for his humanitarian efforts off the field as well.
The UW system saw a record number of graduates in the 2017-2018 academic year. Nearly 37,000 students at all levels graduated during this time frame, which is an increase of 13.4% over numbers 10 years ago.
Let's talk to Gary now. He'll be out scraping all that ice off our windshields. That sure is nice of you, Gary.
No, I don't think so. It's really enough to get it off of my windshield.
Really been building up, though, out there.
Yeah, well, at least right now there's a break. So if you go and you scrape off your windshield now in the next couple of hours, you'll probably be okay. A little bit of freezing drizzle and some flurries out there. But we have alert days in the forecast overnight for some sleet, freezing rain, a little bit of snow, mainly north of Madison, with a little bit of rain south of Madison. So slick roads are likely, but tomorrow that mixed precipitation will change over to snow in the afternoon as temperatures start to turn colder. We could be looking at about 1/4 inch of ice accumulation, but when we change over to snow, we could see as little as 1 inch of snow accumulation south of Madison to maybe a couple of inches in town to as much as 5 or 6 inches north of Madison up toward the Wisconsin Dells area. So that's something to keep in mind. In fact, winter storm warnings are in effect for Juneau and Adams counties, winter weather advisories elsewhere, ice storm warnings for parts of Iowa, and then to the north, this winter storm warning changes to a blizzard warning over parts of western Minnesota and the eastern Dakota. So, you know, a little bit of everything from this storm. As far as the snowfall amounts are concerned, this is from the GFS Future Track model showing eventually about 4.5 inches of snow in Madison. That is through the day tomorrow. It might not be, a lot of it will depend on when that changeover takes place, but somewhere in the 2 to 4 inch range probably likely here. 6 or more inches possibility well north and west of the Dells, and even heavier amounts into parts of central Wisconsin. Then a second storm system that will affect us from late Monday night into Tuesday of next week could bring additional heavy snow accumulations. The GFS computer model only shows about 1.5 inches here, but another perhaps foot of snow in the northern portion of the state. The European computer model shows about 1/2 foot here with about a foot as nearby as La Crosse. So that storm bears some watching as we head into next week. The ice accumulations right now, we're probably looking at about 1/10 of an inch or so yet for tonight, with some 1/4 inch amounts perhaps closer to the Illinois state line, and then farther to the south and west, some areas could pick up to 1/2 of an inch of ice over parts of eastern Iowa where that ice storm warning is in effect. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison looks a little hazy. That is flurries and a little bit of freezing drizzle that's out there. High temperature today 30 degrees, low temperature at 22. Right now we've dropped to 28 degrees. Winds out of the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour, the wind chill of 20. Those temperatures are going to stay nearly steady overnight, but then start falling after a brief rise tomorrow morning. Look at the difference in temperatures. Right around freezing in Chicago and Rockford. To the west and northwest, temperatures again below zero over the eastern Dakotas. And as we look at weather track, you can see the storm following along a very sharp, strong jet stream that continues to bring wave after wave of moisture northward. Where the temperatures are cold enough, it switches over to snow and freezing rain. To the south, rain and some heavy thunderstorms with the threat for flooding and severe weather on the southern side of the storm system. The main area of low pressure is actually sitting over Arkansas, a secondary area of low pressure back in Texas. Eventually, the two will combine and then head northeastward along that jet stream. And again, that big temperature contrast with below zero weather in the Dakotas and temperatures close to 60 near the Ohio River. That's a big fuel maker for a storm like this. So winter storm warnings for our far northwestern viewers, winter weather advisories elsewhere through the day tomorrow. For tonight, look for a low temperature of about 27. We'll see that wintry mix with some freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Tomorrow, that will change over to all snow in the afternoon, as our high of 33 will be in the morning, and the temperatures fall off after that. So on future track, you can see those waves of freezing rain, sleet, and snow. High temperature of about 33 by mid-morning tomorrow, and then those temperatures drop into the 20s as everything changes over to snow. After that, we start clearing out with temperatures dropping to just above zero by early on Friday morning. And on Friday, high temperatures only stay in the single digits with wind chills perhaps well below zero. And as far as snowfall amounts are concerned, again, heaviest amounts probably north and west of the Dells, maybe as much as 7 or 8 inches in our far northwestern viewing area. As we look at the 10-day forecast, you can see that next weather system, that arrives for the middle part of next week, the potential for some heavy snow there. And then after that, some more snow chances as we head just beyond Valentine's Day, too. So pretty active weather pattern out there.
Very active. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Badger men's basketball team hopes history doesn't repeat itself tonight in Minneapolis. Highlights coming up in sports.
The Badgers and Minnesota Gophers men's basketball teams face each other for the 204th time tonight at Williams Arena in Minneapolis. Wisconsin tries to even the score after Minnesota won the first meeting at the Kohl Center back in January. This was your typical Big Ten grinder. Ethan Happ always draws a crowd, but this time he finds a wide-open Khalil Iverson for one of his 2 poster dunks tonight. Of course, Happ can do it all by himself most of the time. You're just not going to stop him down here. Happ with 15 points and 13 rebounds, and then a huge play late. Gophers down only 3. Shot clock running down. Demetric Trice hits the 3. Well, that was actually Reavers from the free throw line, but Trice hit a big one too. Badgers survived the road trip to Minneapolis with a win. Final, Wisconsin 56-51, 6 straight wins. Wisconsin is 9-3 in the Big Ten, now tied with Michigan State for 3rd place in the conference. Badgers are on the road for their next game too. Wisconsin at Michigan Saturday morning at 11. Don Maker wanted to be traded today. He got his wish. Maker will go to the Detroit Pistons for Stanley Johnson, who's a 22-year-old wing and was averaging 7.5 points and 3.6 rebounds for the Pistons. The Bucks are home from their 5-game road trip. They play the Washington Wizards at Fiserv tonight. You know, you see Giannis all the time. He had 43 points. How about Ersan Ilyasova? First the dunk. He leads the league in taking the most charges, and he can step up and shoot the 3. The Bucks were crazy tonight. They scored 50 points in the first quarter alone. Final score, Bucks 148, Wizards 129. Milwaukee's 40th win of the season. Sam Decker scored 12 points for the Wizards tonight. Everyone thought the former Badger was traded to the Bucks back in December, but it turned out it was a 3-way deal sending Decker to his new home in Washington. Decker says knew the whole time he wasn't going to go to the Bucks.
And, you know, I'm dealing with the behind-the-scenes stuff, the logistics stuff already, so I don't have time to text everyone back like, hey, no, that's actually not happening. It's a 3-team deal. That was unfair to some people back home because that was just like toying with them a little bit, but no, I never thought I was going to be a Buck.
We have another Prep Mania game of the week tomorrow night. Boys basketball in the Big 8, Sun Prairie at Madison La Follette. In their first meeting, La Follette won 105-104 in 2 overtimes. So don't miss the rematch tomorrow night, 7:15, live on channel3000.com. Baseball Hall of Famer John Smoltz will play in the American Family Insurance Championship at University Ridge in June. Smoltz gets a sponsor's exemption to play in the AmFam. He's a pretty good golfer, qualified for the U.S. Senior Open last summer. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015 after a 21-year career, mostly with the Braves. He won 211 games, had 154 saves, and again, he'll be playing in the American Family Insurance Championship this June. And finally, today is a golf anniversary. February 6, 1971, astronaut Alan Shepard became the only person to play golf anywhere other than on Earth. Shepard smuggled a 6-iron onto Apollo 14 and hit 2 balls. He shanked the first. The second went about 200 yards with much lower gravity. By the way, the temperature on the moon today was 260 degrees in the sun. It was 280 below on the dark side. We'll be right back.
I admit that once I tossed the ball
We have winter weather advisories for much of the viewing area through 6 p.m. tomorrow. Winter storm warnings north and west of the Dells for some heavier snow accumulations, so take it easy out there.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.